Are you good? Yeah, that's what I thought. Hi, I'm Weston. I love talking about the Astros. I'm here to talk about game 64 of the regular season, where the Astros lose in the 14th inning. The 14th inning, 10-9 to the Cleveland Guardians in the first game of the 3-game weekend set. Oh my God! It ended 10-9! Hey, no 10-run curse. We're good there. That's not that there's no 10-run curse. Okay, so there's not that. That happened. That was a real game that happened. The Astros led 4-0 at one point in this game. Jose Abreu's 3-run shot was that game. That was today. Tonight. It's still 11:30. Tonight. That was tonight. I've never watched a baseball game last 4 hours, but feel that long. What do you even say about that game? Like from a review point, from a recap point of view, what do I say about that game? Because if you watched it, you know. And if you didn't, you can kind of from context tell. That was ping pong the extra inning experience. Good Lord Almighty. And the thing is, right? The thing is, there's the duality of man. Because on one side, yes, the Astros had so many opportunities to win that game. But at the same time, they took most of said opportunities. They scored a run in the 12th, and in the 13th, and in the 14th inning. This wasn't that they just lied down to die in extra innings. They still scored some runs. They potted an extra one in the 8th to retake the lead. They didn't just sit there and do nothing. They tried, clearly. But here we are. In, just one of the all-timers for weird. This was, like, you know when you're watching a TV series, and you get to the very end of the entirety of the series, like the last 3 or 4 episodes. Usually it's the third, because the last 2 episodes of a series are like a double part, or a 2-parter to cap off the series for the finale. But like the third to last episode, and it's like the funny, haha, clip montage of all the greatest hits of the series. That was this game for just cavalcades of calamity. That was this. It was, hey, you want to see the Astros blow a big lead in a game after getting on the board early? Guess it's there. You want to see a starter who is normally rock solid randomly implode in an inning? 5th inning Christian Javier. He was solid. I mean, no, he wasn't. He wasn't that good. I'm not even going to say he was. That was ugly. It got ugly for Christian Javier. Granted, he did not get any help from the umpire, but that was just ugly point blank. And then, hey, you want to see Rafael Montero, 8th highest paid reliever now, by the way. I look stupid forever defending that deal, at least to this point. You want to see him blow a lead? Boom, shakalaka, there you go. Enjoy that. You want to see the annual June meltdown for Ryan Presley? Even though this wasn't really a meltdown, it was just a solo home run, or a run in the 9th inning. Quata! Blown! You want to see every opportunity the Astros had in extra innings fall to the wayside and shatter away. You got it, buddy boy. You want to see Altuve get robbed of extra base or of multiple runs, debatably extra bases, because if that would have got past Quan Alexander, it would have been more. What? Ha-ha! Quan Alexander isn't that. That's a Jets player. Steven Kwan. My point still remains. You want to see it? There you go. And for a moment, my dumb, stupid self, being child, was like, hey, Altuve didn't score the 2 runs. That's good. No 10-run curse. Ya-da-da-da-da. And they didn't get the 10 runs. They didn't get the 10 runs. So that's a positive. This was every possible thing that could go wrong. Defensive errors? Pena just not swallowing the ball. And on one hand, I understand that Jeremy Pena, we think of Jeremy Pena as this vet because he had a solid year last year and won a Gold Glove and was the first player ever to win a Gold Glove, ALCS, and World Series MVP in 1 year. First player ever, and he did it in his rookie season, right? So on one hand, he is still an incredibly young player. He's 25, I want to say. And this is only his second season. He hasn't played 200 games in Major League Baseball yet, not counting postseason. And so on one hand, I understand that he's young. On the other hand, you gotta not do that. You gotta not play hero ball in that situation. You gotta not try to force that throw. And I understand he's young. I get that. But, man, the basics of your position gotta kick through there, and they didn't. And that's not even to dunk on Jeremy Pena, because he might have been the best hitter for the Astros tonight. He had 4 hits for him. So I can't even go hard on Jeremy Pena, because he might have been the best offensive player tonight. And then you have, again, the Stephen Kwan robbing Altuve play, which was a bummer. You had Seth Martinez come in for one of the wackiest relief appearances in Astros history, where he finishes with a line of 3 1/3 innings, 4 runs, only one of them earned because of the wonderful Rob Manfred rule. Thank you again for that, Robbie boy. 3 walks and 4 strikeouts, although 2 of the walks were intentional. One of the weirdest stat lines you'll ever see, right? Because he gave up for his own sins that you can lie on him for his cross to bear. He gave up 1 run and 3 1/3 of long relief and 1 actual walk where he couldn't get the batter to strike out. And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't that intentional walk? Wasn't that kind of an intentional walk? Because he went down 2-0, and then they just said, walk him? Or am I thinking of the first intentional walk? I think, were they all 3 kind of intentional, but the second one just didn't start out that way? I can't, I'm already trying to suppress this down in the depths of my memory. And it's just, it just, even when you do something, even when you do everything well, right? Even when you have the bullpen, by and large, do great. You had Stanek have an inning relief, perfectly fine. You had Maton, jeez, have a good inning. You had Seth Martinez have that long, prolonged outing. Even when the bullpen is good, it's bad, because your 2 most expensive bullpen arms fell apart. And the cheap ones, the ones that are basically free, were what held you in the game. Hector Neris had a good inning, by the way. Nito Spaghetto. Even when they do that well, they do it wrong. And then even when the offense does well and scores 9 runs, they don't do that well, because how many of the runs were earned? Not a lot of them, because extra inning rules are fun. And you go 6 for 28 with runners in scoring position. I know that's heavily swayed from the extra innings, but good God, 6 for 28. That is a fun statistic to read. It just, and then you lose Yordan Alvarez to the injury, which we found out today. McCullers is getting an MRI. He had it today. They'll address the media next week. It's just, if you're Dana Brown, the conversation is no longer, do you go for a bat or an arm at the deadline? It's, how do you get a starting pitcher, a reliever, and a bat at the deadline? Dana Brown walked into a team that was the reigning World Series champion. And I'm not saying the team is falling apart, because they simply are not. They simply aren't. I have all the confidence in the world that the Astros are making the playoffs and probably going to make another deep run. All the confidence in the world. And even if they don't for one singular year, this team is not expiring. They just aren't. Even if they miss it this year, they're not, the window is not closed. It's not beginning to close. You look at the depth in the minors coming up, or some of the young players on the team currently that just haven't fully developed yet, they're not going to slow down anytime soon. That is not in the conversation. But Dana Brown walked into a team that was supposed to need no tinkering, and it very clearly needs tinkering already. It is the equivalent of them walking to Dana Brown and being like, hey, dog, you want to go for a ride in the car? We'll go get ice cream, and then instead of getting ice cream, they take him to the vet. That is what the Astros did to Dana Brown, and you kind of feel bad for him. This game is on the Mount Rushmore of losses in the regular season. I'm not including the postseason losses. But the regular season losses that I have made videos for, this is on the Rushmore. 100%, right? It's like the Garrett Cole 1-0 game the Mariners game last year, or was that 2 years ago? 2 years ago. And there's got to be something from last year that I can't think of, but this is on the Rushmore of losses that I've talked about. Good Lord. I didn't even intend to do that run. I intended this to be a normal edit video, but sometimes when you feel it, you feel it. So the Astros play again tomorrow. I'm begging them to wash the taste of that out of their mouths. 6:10 Eastern, 5:10 Central. The Astros send Ty France to the mound, and the Cleveland Guardians send Tristan McKenzie to the mound. I'll be here afterwards to talk about it, but as for right now, that's all I have to say. So if you enjoyed the video, please consider to like and subscribe. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day, and as always, go Astros.